Hey guys, Eric, Accurate Appraisal Partners. Another manufactured home deal. Mobile homes are tough. Manufactured homes are tough. Modular, manufactured. There's a lot of misconceptions. So I'm glad I actually got a question. It says here, I'm a new mobile home investor and trying to learn all this. I have a question that I can't find the answer to, so maybe you can help. I have two brand new mobile homes I've put on two parcels. Sounds like they own the parcels already. So I'm guessing probably they own the homes too, because this will state that in a second. Now they are still personal property, but I want to make them into real property so I can pull equity out of them. Okay, so we've discussed that. It's a process of purging the title. Typically, you got to have them permanently attached to the land, blocked and tied down, tow hitches, axles, wheels, everything's got to be removed, skirted, hooked up to utilities, a livable home, like you see when you go buy one, not on the lot, but when you go buy one out in the city or rural countryside or something. So yeah, they want to make them real property so I can pull equity out. That's pretty smart. Then that way, recoup on your investment if you already own the land and the homes. However, in the future, I plan on selling them and renting the land. And if I do that, they'll have to go back to being personal property. Okay, so that's going to be an issue. Other states might be different, but in Colorado, when you purge the title, you're literally getting rid of the title and you're turning the home into real property. So it's no longer personal property and that title goes away. You go down to the assessors, sometimes the clerks, but typically it's the assessors because they assign parcel numbers. You file the title purge data with the assessors, they submit it with the state, and then the state purges the title, meaning the state gets rid of the title. It's gone. There's not going to be a title anymore. A lot of times the assessors will keep a copy of the title just for reference in the file, but the title's gone. And then once that's done, then the assessors either assign a new parcel number or they assign the home to the parcel number that belongs to the land. So I didn't answer this in the comments correctly, and I apologize because it just didn't hit me until I was rereading this and going to do a video about it. But yeah, if you purge those titles, and every state's different, so you might be able to do it differently. They're gone. They're not part of that house anymore. The house becomes part of the land. The titles go away. So you can pull equity out of them, but then to convert them back to real property or personal property, I don't think that's going to work. You can resell them. You can retain the land and just sell the homes off the land. But now, if you're here's something to consider. If you're gonna pull equity out of them, then it's gonna be hard to sell them again. So if you bought the land and you bought the homes and you own them outright, and then you purge the titles, you're gonna make them real property. And then if you go get a loan, then you're getting a loan on the land and the house. So that's cool. So you get money for another investment. But until you pay that mortgage off, you can't separate the home from the land because you collateralized the home and the land. I hope that makes sense. So like you got a loan on everything. So it'd be almost impossible to go do that and then go back and then say, well, I want to sell the home now and get some sort of a land lease or rent the land, because the bank's gonna be like, dude, that ain't gonna happen because we collateralize the whole thing. Now, maybe, I'm guessing probably hypothetically that they plan on pulling equity out of these homes, going to another investment, and then paying everything off. So then once you pay it off and it's free and clear, it's back to yours. You can do what you want. But it's still now considered real property and the title's purged. So do you think it'd be possible to make them into real property and then go back to make them into personal property? I think you're going to be creating a lot of extra work for yourself, and I don't think you're going to be able to make them personal property. You'll be able to sell the home off the land once you alleviate the debt that you have collateralized based on the land and the home. But I think you're just going to be selling it as a single wide home. So I don't think you're going to have the marketability that you will if you were to just keep them as, home and land separate. What I would probably do is I would go to a credit union or a local bank that does in-house lending. Now, granted, you're not going to get as favorable terms and financing, interest rates, probably length of years in loans, but then you could go in and you could probably even explain, just say, hey, you know, I want to pull some equity out on these things, and then eventually I want to pay these off, and then I want to sell the homes back. That's why I don't want to purge the titles. Or maybe you could go in and say, do I have enough equity in just the land, and then go get a land loan, which our local banks around here, some of them will just loan money on land. But if you're going to try to max them out based on them being real property, then and go on the secondary market, you know, it's going to be really tough, if at all even possible, to ever turn them back into personal property, other than just, you know, selling them and disclosing that you're selling your mobile home and it doesn't have a title anymore. I know I'm bouncing around on this, but I think the best bet would just be go to a credit union, go to a local bank, and then structure a loan through them to where you can still keep the mobile homes personal property. Now, you're going to run into an issue, and this is going to kind of be a sideline deal because it's not really going to concern you, but it could bite you in the ass later, is I have to make a statement in all my manufactured home appraisals. I have to put the date of manufacture and the date the home placed. And most banks, if that home came from Cavco Industries to Bill's Mobile Home Sales to your site, you're fine. Or if you bought it at Bill's Mobile Home Sales and it was built at Cavco and shipped to your parcel and placed, or your land and placed, then you're fine. But a big deal breaker that blows a lot of deals, and people get really mad at me, especially FHA and stuff. And FHA is one of your biggest lenders on manufactured homes. If that home went from Cavco to Bill's Mobile Home Sales to your place, and then you sell it to Betsy Sue or some deal, and she wants to go put it on her property and then get a loan on it. Well, since that home wasn't shipped from the manufacturer or from the sales lot to the site, it's been at a third party somewhere. Sometimes I've seen them bounce around 2 or 3 times. A lot of banks won't lend on it. So then all of a sudden, you know, say you sell it to Bob and Jill or something, and they go place it, and they say they pay you 25 grand cash for it, and they go place it, and then somebody comes and does an appraisal because they want to refinance it, and they say, oh man, we discovered that in between, you know, there was a 5-year stretch that it was at this other individual's property, and now it got placed here. A lot of banks will turn you away. So one, you'd have to be really careful and disclose stuff, because I believe in honesty, and you'd hate to see somebody else get burnt thinking that they're going to buy their dream home from you and put it somewhere, and then all of a sudden they can't get financing on it, or maybe they can't resell it because nobody can buy it because it's been at a third party destination, not just the sales lot or the manufacturer. And then if you didn't disclose it, I couldn't really see this happening because I'm not an attorney, but you could get sued on that, because if all of a sudden they paid you money for this home and then they go to place it and get a loan to, say, finish it off or build a garage, and then the bank's like, sorry, we won't give you a loan or anything, even though you got equity, because the home was at a third-party location, then you know, that might come back on you. So that'd be something you'd have to be careful of. So long story short, you know, if you're going to get a double wide or single wide, well, single wide would be more apt for something like this, a mobile home, and you want to purge it, then you're kind of doing it, I would assume, or the best bet would be for the long run. Granted, you're not going to get as good a financing if you don't purge the title, but I think it'd be easiest if you were planning on removing them to go ahead and just keep it as personal property, get them set, you know, get them blocked up, skirted and everything, and then start talking to local banks and credit unions and see if you can get your money that way, and then that down the road you could turn around and sell them with a marketable title, you know, so you could transfer the title to the next person. A lot of babbling there. That was a really good question, but it's kind of a tough one to answer because there's a lot of portions to it. But anyway, I hope that helps. This is Eric, Accurate Appraisal Partners. We'll try to do another video of something different than manufactured homes. Thanks. Have a good day.